My road trip is coming to an end in Hot Springs, Arkansas, the only place in the world where beer is brewed using thermal spring water. Keep watching to learn how it's made on the season finale of Travel Dare's Season Us. Last episode, I got my final clue for where to end up on this episode. Check out these hoppy hot springs. So now, I'm here in Hot Springs, Arkansas. This city may be known for its world-famous bathhouses and national park, but today, instead of bathing in thermal spring water, I'm gonna be drinking it. I've been to Arkansas before, but I've never been to Hot Springs. I am so excited to be making beer today. Hey, I'm Jenna.
Hey Jenna, I'm Rose, and welcome to Superior.
What a beautiful space.
Thank you very much.
So I'd love to know a little bit of history about this place.
Superior Bathhouse was built in 1916, and it's pretty interesting. It was on the site of a previously built bathhouse that had been built in the late 1800s. In the 60s and 70s, most of these bathhouses closed to the public. So the Superior closed in 1983. And then in the early 2000s, the National Park Service started a program to attract small businesses to take over the buildings. So I'm one of the adaptive reuse projects here in the national park.
What inspired you to want to make beer?
Well, I've always loved beer, and I used to be a home brewer.
Okay.
And when I moved to Hot Springs in 2011, I was surprised that there was not a brewery here already. Hot Springs National Park is famous for our thermal spring water because you can drink it. So I figured if you can drink the famous water, you might as well make beer out of it.
That's great, I love that. Well, I'm really excited, and I'd love to see how you guys make beer.
Well, today is brew day, so let's head on down to the warehouse and get started.
Oh, yes.
All right, let's hop up on the brew deck and I'll walk you through the process.
Sounds great.
Now, the first step in making beer is to heat up, like I said, a lot of water. Once we mix the grains with the hot water, the goal is to extract the flavor and the color and the sugar from those grains.
Okay.
That's why we had to crush them earlier. So now they're like at the perfect consistency, perfect size to get that flavor out of the grains. And when that's done, it gets pumped over to this vessel. This is called the Boil Kettle. So as you can probably imagine, this is where we bring the future beer to a boil. And once it comes to a boil, we add hops.
Okay.
Hops are like the seasoning in beer, but they provide bitterness, and traditionally they provide kind of a preservative effect to beer.
Okay.
So that's why they've always been used in beer, but today we use hops as a flavoring.
I did not know that.
So after we're done over here today, we pump the liquid. It's called wort at that point. And once the wort is in the fermenter, that's when we add the yeast. Yeast provides flavor to the beer. It produces CO2, which is the bubbles, the carbonation, and most importantly, yeast makes the alcohol. What we're making today will be ready in about 2 weeks, but if you want, we can go try one from the last batch. Yeah.
Would love that.
All right, let's go. All right, Jenna, well, I'm enjoying my elixir, but if you don't mind, I went ahead and ordered you a flight so you can sample a couple of our beers.
Thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome.
That is quite the flight. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Well, we call this a beer bath. It is a flight of all 18 beers that we have on tap.
18 different beers.
So I would love for you to try our oatmeal stout. It's called Foul Play Stout.
Oatmeal.
Oatmeal stout.
Okay.
There you go. What do you think? Nice and
I
chocolatey.
love that.
Right?
Yes.
Okay, if we want to create some contrast from that, you need to try our dill pickle sour.
Pickle? Okay.
Yep. It's going to be tart and tangy, but a definite, distinct flavor of dill pickle.
Dill pickle.
Dill pickle sour.
That is pickly.
Taste that pickle? Yeah.
I really like that.
I know, it's sour and it's kind of salty too.
Yeah, that is really interesting.
You want another crazy one?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay, try our spicy ride. That's number 4 right here. There's the ride, and it's spicy, I guess.
That is, it lives up to the promise.
It does. We use a whole case of jalapenos per batch. The cool thing about beer is you can create any flavor your mind's eye can come up with. It's like being an artist. We have a palette of ingredients to work with, different grains, different yeast, hops, and different even vegetables in this case.
So what do you want people's takeaway to be when they come here and visit?
Well, I'm so happy you chose Hot Springs as part of your trip, because I take every opportunity I can to tell the world about what a fun and funky little town we have here.
Yeah.
And this town was all about the water. So the water is the reason we have a national park, and it's the reason this bathhouse exists. It's the reason we have a brewery here. So that's the reason you're drinking our beer. It's all about the water. And the water has brought people together for centuries here to this area. It's so cool that today this is a place where people can come and just have a great time in our small town.
It's so cool. Cheers to that.
Cheers.
I had such an amazing time meeting Rose today, and the amount of passion she brings into the craft of making beer is so inspiring. This is definitely one of those experiences you can't miss out on. This road trip has been incredible. It's hard to say what my favorites are. The most eye-opening part about this trip was probably Kuala and learning about a culture that's so different than my own. I think the most exciting adventure I've had was guitar making. It was awesome. And as someone who plays an acoustic guitar, getting an opportunity to play an electric with a legend, I loved every second of that. The most thrilling part of this road trip was definitely Ruby Falls. Trekking through a cave so far underground to come upon this breathtaking, majestic waterfall was an experience I will never forget. And I think the most surprising part of this road trip was President's Park. Coming upon those giant president heads was like, whoa. I had no idea that even existed. I hope this season of Travel Dares has inspired you to go on your own road trip. There are so many incredible places in this country worth seeing for yourself.